Hear me? Oh, sorry. Man, I am talking away and you can't hear me? I apologize. You can hear me now, huh? I was on mute. Can you hear me now? Sorry, you guys. All right. Can you guys hear me? I just turned on my. Okay, there we go. You can hear me. Do I have to start over? Let's start. Well, since you guys couldn't hear me, let's start again. I am Coach Sheréa VéJauan. I'm the co-founder of the Goal Setters Club. I'm the author of the Ultimate Goals Handbook, the only handbook you need to set and achieve your goals. I'm also the publisher of the Goals magazine, which is available. Our latest editions are March, and we have a new one coming out in May, so you don't want to miss that. And today is National Bucket List Day. So for those of you who don't know, April 24th, National Bucket List Day. And it was created by Cindy Rhodes. And Cindy Rhodes was about 40 years old, her 40s, and she realized that she was just existing and not living. And so she made her own bucket list. And now she's helping people all over the world to live their lives too. And so one of her quotes is, "Don't wait until retirement to experience the world, because tomorrow is not promised and you should celebrate every day." I also started off with some quotes, so I'm going to go over those quotes one more time. You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. Create a life that feels good on the inside, not just one that looks good on the outside. It's never too late to set new goals, go on a dream vacation, or inspire others to live fully. It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live. And last but not least, someday is not a day of the week. And so those are some quotes to help you kind of think a little bit more about the bucket list. I wanted to talk about I watched a couple of movies. Well, I watched The Life List this last weekend, and I cried like a baby. I cried like a baby through those movies anyway. So you might not cry, but I did the ugly cry throughout that movie, and it was so good to me. And so if you haven't seen that, you haven't seen The Life List on Netflix, go ahead and check that out. But it takes courage to live your life list. It takes support to live your list. It takes encouragement. And I hope that you have someone, if you have a list, whether it's your bucket list, whether it's your dream list, whether it's your goal list, I hope that you have people who love you enough to remind you about that list, like in the movie I watched. Maybe you could be that person. That's why I always encourage sharing your goals. You know, you still want to be selective on who you share your goals with, but I do, I know there's a lot of debate. Don't tell people your goals. I think you should be careful, but I definitely feel like you should share them. So I want to give you some other movies, and you can have a watch party. We talk about goal setting, and I always talk about routines. And now I'm on this big legacy goals. After turning 50, if you guys didn't get a chance to watch that podcast, after turning 50, like every goal from this point is like a legacy goal. We don't know when our last day is going to be. This could be my last podcast. This could be my last video. And so, creating those legacy moments and creating the life you want to live is so important at this point. But I want to give you a couple of more movies so you can take these movies and watch them with your family. On every National Bucket List Day or New Year's Day, these are good movies to watch with your family, your friends. So Eat, Pray, Love, it was a woman who set off on a global journey to rediscover herself and reclaim her joy. Now she left her husband too, so that's a whole nother thing. I'm not in agreement with that, but she woke up one morning and she was like, I don't like this life. She went and traveled all over and that type of thing. But it was a good movie. Last Holiday, I love that movie. That was with Queen Latifah, and she was misdiagnosed with an illness, a terminal illness, and so she just said, "Forget it." She used her life savings, and she finally started to live the life she dreamed of. And then I think LL Cool J was in there. She ended up being in a relationship with him. Um, the bucket list. It was, I think, Jack Nicholson and oh, I forgot the guy. Now we get in trouble by all those who. But it was two terminally ill men. They escaped the hospital and they went on a road trip, and they went to fulfill Morgan Freeman. So Morgan Freeman, Jack Nicholson. That was really good. There was a cartoon around 2009 ish up where the husband's wife passed away, and then they had some goals that they wanted to reach, and he ended up, I think he met a little boy, and then they ended up went up doing living out his list, the things that he wanted to do with his wife. And so those films, they remind you that you don't really need a diagnosis. You don't really need to be diagnosed with death in order to live. And that brings me into Norma. If you guys haven't heard her story, it's called Driving Miss Norma, and I'm not going to butcher her last name, but this was a real life situation. She was I think her husband passed away first, and then she was diagnosed with cancer, and I think she was 90, and she said, "Forget it. I'm not taking no chemo. I'm not going to the hospital. I'm not doing nothing. So what I'm going to do is do all the things I want to do until I die." And so she traveled the world, and I believe her daughter and her son-in-law helped her. They got an RV and they just traveled, and it was such an inspiring story. So if you haven't had a chance to experience that, she has a Facebook page. It's called Driving Miss Norma. She has a book out. I think her daughter published the book after she passed away. She has a website. It's really inspiring. I think her kids dedicated, started a nonprofit, started helping people with their life list. So instead of chemo, she traveled the country in an RV. She rode hot air balloons. She went to national parks, and she just created memories, and she inspired a lot of people to do the same. And so her website is missnorma.com. And then she has a book. I believe the book is called Driving Miss Norma, right? So yeah, that was pretty inspiring. And then creating your own bucket list. So you want to start with, what have you always wanted to do but you keep putting off? What would you regret never trying? What type of things did you want to do as a child? What lights up your soul today? You could do adventure goals. So there's a lot of different types of bucket lists. One is like that main bucket list. If I died in 30 days, or if I had 1 year to live, or I had 6 months to live, what would I do? And that's really how the bucket list creates. So if you think about, what do I want to do in 6 months? If I was diagnosed with a terminal disease or terminal illness, what would I do? And that's how the bucket list got started. But you could do fun bucket lists. You could do travel. You could do adventure, creative goals, food, culture, like you want to travel and taste different meals, personal growth goals, or bucket lists, giving, legacy, bucket lists. So, and what I used to do with my nieces, we would have our seasonal list too, like winter bucket lists, things you want to do in the fall, things you want to do in the summer, that you only can do in the summer. So things like that, places you want to visit that's better to visit in the winter than it is in the summer. So things like that. What do you want to do after you create your list? You want to write all these crazy things down. You could do nothing. You could just write them down. You could just take a moment and say, hey, I want to try drinking coffee in every country until I run out of countries. I want to have spaghetti in every state. I want to have a hamburger. So you can have a creative list of things that you may never do, and do nothing with it. Just let it inspire you. Post it up and just read it and laugh and let it inspire you. I know when my mom was passing away, I would bring her travel magazines. I mean, at that point, she knew that she wasn't going to travel. Same with my husband's mom. Gave her travel magazines, and I would bring her brochures, and it just inspired her. Just, oh man, I always want to go there, and seeing the beautiful beaches of Hawaii or seeing those type of things. It inspires you. So you can create your list and do nothing. Just let it inspire you. You also can make it now and use it later. So maybe it's a milestone bucket list. Maybe it's a retirement bucket list. Maybe it's a birthday bucket list. So you can have it and then say, hey, when I retire, I'm going to do everything on this list. You can turn it into goals, which is where my 7-step process is. And so a bucket list is not a goal list. There are separate things. It's not, you haven't set a date. It's not urgent. It's something that's on your list. But when you want to turn that bucket list into a goal, and then you want to use my 7-step method, so which is to write, balance, research, affirm, visualize, act, and celebrate. And so if your goal is to travel to Hawaii, okay, you want to write that down. I want to travel to Hawaii by December 31st, 2025. Okay, I'm going to research. I'm going to research Hawaii. I'm going to research the plane tickets. I'm going to research what I need to wear. I'm going to find me a travel agent. You want to affirm. You want to create your affirmations. Hey, I am going to Hawaii. I love Hawaii. Hawaii loves me. You want to visualize. Get you a picture of Hawaii. Keep it on your board. Keep it on your bathroom. Keep it in your car. Keep it in your purse. And then you want to actually act. You want to create routines. You know, every Wednesday, call your travel agent. Every Thursday, check on your passport. Every Friday, get your clothes ready. So you want to act. You want to set up some routines to get that travel arrangement, you know, into action. And then you want to celebrate. When you go or when you come back, you can also celebrate when you come back with I went to a Hawaii party, and show your pictures and your experiences. And so you can have a bucket list like we talked about and do nothing, just let it inspire you, or you can turn that bucket list into actual goals. All right. Here's some things on my bucket list. So I don't know, I saw I Love Lucy, and it was this episode where she went to like a wine place and she was stumping grapes with her feet. She jumped in and she was stumping there. And I just always wanted to do that. You know, I just thought it was so grounding, you know. So that's on my bucket list. I'm not rushing to do that. I'm not trying to find. It's not turned into a goal, but I just always thought it would be awesome to do. Drink coffee in every state or country. Ride in a hot air balloon. Record a children's lullaby album. That's been on my bucket list. Also a Christmas album. I always wanted to record a family Christmas album. Sleep under the stars. That has been like one of those weird goals where I just want to go to sleep, but I think I was afraid of either animals coming up to me while I'm sleeping or just weird things happen. So I wouldn't be able to sleep in peace under the stars. But actually, someone posted up where they slept under the stars. It was like a hotel, but the top was out or something like that. So I wrote that down. So that could be an alternative to sleeping under the stars. So they can be kind of wild. Have fun with it. We talked about by seasons. I'm going to read a couple of these on my list. So you can have a spring bucket list, like plant a garden. You can have a summer bucket list, a fall bucket list, like apple picking or baking pies, things that I know usually fall, you got your pumpkin spices. Some things aren't even available until summer. Your winter bucket list, maybe sleeping in a cabin or go skiing or things like that. You can have life's milestone bucket list, things I want to do before I'm 30, things I want to do before I'm 40, things I want to do before I'm 50, things I want to do after I graduate. You can have couples bucket list, things you want to do with your spouse. Empty nester bucket list. Once the kids leave, hey, my kids are gone. Here's my empty nester bucket list. Here's a list of things I always wanted to do, but maybe I didn't have time to do. retirement bucket list. Hey, I don't have a 9 to 5. I don't have to clock in, clock out. I don't have to ask my boss, could I leave? I don't have to wait for my paycheck. Well, maybe you still got to wait for your paycheck. But now just take your retirement, you retire and just do the things that you wanted to do. And then you can have a birthday bucket list, like 44 things I want to do when I'm 44, or 52 things by 52, or something like that. You can get creative. All right. So, yeah, that's all I have for you today. Bucket list. I do have a free worksheet. So, if you're in my Goal School community, I'm going to put the replay to this in that community. If you're not in the community, it's only $1 to join. And you can download your free worksheet, your bucket list, and do that with your family. It's such a good activity to ask your kids, what have you always wanted to do? If you could do anything, in 6 months and money was not an issue, what would you do? And that's kind of a dinner table thing. You could do it on a Saturday with your family, have a bucket list party, workshop, have some popcorn, watch one of the movies that I suggested. Don't forget to grab your copy of the Ultimate Goals Handbook. It's available on Amazon. And if you have Prime, it's free shipping. Get it the next day. You can join our Goal School community. Again, it's only $1 a month to join. I also created a Live the List playlist. It's on Spotify. And I know I said this like 3 times. Host a bucket list watch party. I'm gonna put the movie list. If you rewatch it, you can write it down. But I'm gonna put the movie list inside of our Goal School community too. All right. And last but not least, I have a poem. Don't wait for the stars to align. Let me see. I think I have it up here. So, all right. So don't wait for the stars to align or for time to whisper now is fine. The clock ticks on without delay. So live your list, start today. It's not just skydives or Paris lights. It's dinners shared and quiet nights. It's every dream you've dared to miss buried deep, but now on your list. Take the trip, say the thing, write the book, dance, sing, forgive, laugh, exist. You were born to live the list. All right, you guys. Thanks for joining me today. Happy National Bucket List Day. I hope that you were inspired to create a bucket list. And if you need help, go ahead. And if you have any questions, you can go ahead and put them in the bottom below the video. All right, you guys have an awesome Thursday. I'll see you next time.